So with just around 2 weeks left until the general election, overseas voting for South Koreans living abroad is also well underway in 115 countries, and that includes Australia. For more, we're joined by one of the eligible voters, Jill. Welcome.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Thanks for joining us. What's the atmosphere like there within your community?
Well, it's quite difficult to say because I'm based in Perth, not in Sydney or Melbourne. So where in Sydney or Melbourne or Brisbane, there are polls a lot available, but in Perth, as far as I know, there is no poll available. So even though I have a couple of friends who wanted to vote, they don't have access to vote actually, unless they travel to Melbourne or Brisbane or Sydney, which costs a lot of money and time.
Do you know anybody who has traveled to those cities to make their votes?
Not that I know of, sorry.
Okay. So you just said you're based in Perth, Australia. How does voting work in Australia this time?
If I remember correctly, there are 4 stations available across the eastern cities, which are quite big in terms of the population, I guess. So 2 in Sydney, 1 in Melbourne. I'm sorry, maybe 5. 2 in Sydney, 1 in Melbourne, 1 in Brisbane, and 1 in Capital. So I guess if you go there with the passport and the visa, then they will have access to vote. But if you travel far away from those stations, then you actually can't vote unless you travel, as I mentioned earlier.
Right, you do have to register in advance to make your votes. That applies to not just Australia, but to all the 115 countries across the globe. Now, you just say you don't know anybody within your community who has made their votes, but have you read any comments or reactions regarding this general election online by any chance?
Well, there are a lot of people who want to vote because, well, there are people who have migrated to Australia permanently, but also we have a lot of populations who are on short-term visas, like working holiday students or just the students.
Right.
So they wanted to exercise their voting rights, but it's quite difficult if you are located far away in the urban area. So I see a lot of criticisms about the overseas voting thing.
Definitely. I've heard about this one New Yorker who had to travel 3 hours by train just to make his vote count. Now, before I let you go, Jen, do you have any wishes or comments that you have about for this election?
Well, I have one very, very particular comment and then wish. We really hope that the Korean government and also the Ministry of the Foreign Affairs establish more voting the polls available across the different cities and different countries, not just focusing on very big cities. I mean, I understand like the limited access and the resources, but there are people outside. So yeah, that is my comment.
Definitely. The votes also apply, especially crucial for those who are planning to make their return to home country in the near future. All right, Jen, thank you so much for joining us all the way from Perth. We appreciate it. You have a great day.
Thank you.